What's going on, everyone? So there has been a lot of news coming out of USA training camp in regards to Austin Reaves. We've got reports that he's just been putting in work and busting people up during Summer League. There's even some videos that have released of him just, playing point guard, making some nice plays. We also got several of the players that have come out and spoke about how great Austin Reaves has been. And Steve Kerr. We got reports that Steve Kerr can't stop praising the feel and vision of Austin Reaves during Team USA's training camp. And look, Steve Kerr is a legendary coach. He's really established himself as one of the best coaches in league history. Many people put him way up there as a top 5 coach all time. I think ESPN even did a poll for that, and he was like number 3 or something crazy like that. I don't know if he's that high, but nonetheless, it's nice to see somebody of Steve Kerr's pedigree, the coach of Team USA, just gives so much praise to Austin Reaves. So Steve Kerr said he fits in wherever we put him. That's the beauty of Austin. He's a connector. That's something that I've talked about on numerous occasions with the Lakers. Him as like a bridge player between the bench unit and the starters and stuff. It's nice to hear Steve Kerr kind of emulate that. He's a hell of a basketball player. He's physical, shoots and passes it, just so poised out there at all times. He's a guy who enhances any lineup that he plays with. Mainly, it's just better to have him on your team than to have him on the other team. That's what I would say about Austin. One of the fun things with this endeavor is that you really get to know guys who we've competed against and admired, but you really get to know their games. He also adds just feel, vision, awareness, understanding of the game, the connector, Reaves being the connector. The ball just goes to the right spots and the right cut is made. Austin made a play yesterday where he made a drive and kick. He was kind of behind the defense, and he worked completely behind the defense, flashed kind of in the middle of the paint, caught it, swung it through. He had feel. You have that awareness to make the play like that. So connectors are guys who make those types of plays, and the game just makes sense, and you end up getting open shots. So, a couple things about Austin Reaves. Now, again, I've talked about him several times already, but look, Austin Reaves is going to be a huge part of the Lakers this season. We're going to be talking about him a lot more over the course of this upcoming season. But one thing that we've saw with Team USA is him playing point guard. They've really kind of put him in the point guard role with the starters and even the bench unit. Again, Steve Kerr talking about that connector. And that's something that the Lakers really want to do. The Lakers want to have Austin Reaves kind of become their pseudo point guard at times. And it makes sense for the future, right? You have Max Christie, who is very likely going to be the starting shooting guard at some point. If it's not him fighting and making it this year, you got to imagine within the next 3 years, he's probably the starting point or the starting shooting guard. So if Max Christie is going to be the starting shooting guard, what do you do with Reaves? You're not going to move him back to the bench. So slide him over to the 1. You have Austin at the 1. You have Christie at the 2. Vanderbilt at the 3. Rui at the 4. 80 at the 5. That's my guess as of right now for the foreseeable future. But we'll see what other players the Lakers end up getting between now and then and stuff like that. But still, even if Austin Reaves does remain the 2 over the course of his career for the Lakers, his ability to just slide over or just make plays, period, is a good thing to have. And we saw him kind of have that in the second half of the season when he kind of had his emergence, right? During the second half of the season and the playoffs, the Lakers really kind of allowed him to be on the ball a lot. And even LeBron was kind of willing to play off the ball and let Reaves be Austin Reaves. And we saw him close out in the Memphis series down the stretch. He had a couple games with the Warriors series. And so Steve Kerr's gotten really good looks at Austin Reaves and now has had the opportunity to coach him. So it's nice to just, again, hear those praises from arguably the best coach in the entire NBA. Right? I think him and Eric Spoelstra are kind of up there as those premier coaches. And the fact that he is working with Reaves so, personally and has kind of seen what Reaves has been able to accomplish with these players and really just dominate games, whether it's on the ball, off the ball, or somewhere in between. And again, the feel for the game. That's something that the Lakers have shown with him, right? His ability to, the high IQ, right? That's what you always hear. Austin Reaves has the high IQ. But he also, yes, he has the IQ and the vision and just the understanding, but he has just such a good natural feel for the game. Something that can't be taught, right? You see him all the time sort of just kind of improvise out there, right? He's kind of gets into the lane, gets into the paint, right? Gets into the teeth of the defense, and then just kind of figures it out from there, whether it's drawing the contact and finishing, kicking it out for an open shooter, throwing it up for a lob, or just kind of finishing through and getting to the basket. His ability to kind of just figure it out on the fly is something that is very rare for a lot of players. Now, obviously, you have guys like stars and stuff like that are more than capable of doing that. But when you look at the entirety of the NBA and you look at all of the players, like Austin Reaves is a rarer type of player, a guy that can do so many things. He's not the most athletic. He's not the biggest. He's not the strongest. He's not the best shooter or the best passer or anything like that. But he's just so well-rounded in so many areas that he's as blue chip of a rotation guy as there is. Right? There's very few role rotation guys that are as good and well-rounded as Austin Reaves, right? You have guys that are specialists in specific areas, right? Get a guy that is just like a lockdown defensive player, or you get that role guy who's just a knockdown shooter. Get that role guy that can kind of handle the ball and score here and there. Or you get that pure scorer, or you see with most role guys, it's a specialty with one specific tool, right? Austin Reaves, he's a 40% free throw shooter. I mean, the guy is nearly a 50-40-90, and he has the ability to play make. He's not an elite defender by any means, but he's good. Like, he's solid enough to actually play defense and stick in front of the guy that's in front of him and not be just getting beat every possession. So all of those things really kind of make him about as blue chip of a rotation guy as you can get. Again, there are guys that might be more athletic, that are bigger, or might be better defensively or better shooters or stuff. But he's a guy that, there's very few that are just well structured as Austin Reaves. Austin Reaves has the full package. I mean, imagine if this guy was like 6'8" and could jump out the gym. This guy, you might be looking at like a top 5 player in the next 3 years. But realistically, I think he will be, a borderline all-star guy. I think he would have been an all-star if it wasn't for him playing the guard position, and especially in the Western Conference, there's just so many quality, just great guards, right? So Austin Reaves kind of becomes the odd man out, just simply on there's just so much talent at the guard position. But that doesn't mean that he can't play to the level of an all-star or be a guy that is looked at as, the snubs, right? The honorees, right? Or even a guy that, a guy gets hurt or something like that, he ends up filling in, right? Maybe he's not voted in, but an injury or two, all of a sudden he's an all-star. I could definitely see that happening. Just because you don't get into the all-star doesn't mean that you can't play to the level of an all-star. And I think Austin Reaves has that potential. I don't necessarily think Austin Reaves will be a superstar or anything like that because he's already 25, right? I do think he continues to improve and get better, but how much better can he be is a real question. Now, obviously, I'm not going to sell the guy short. I'm not going to say that he can't become that level, but realistically, if he was doing this at 21, 22, something like that, you get a guy like Anthony Edwards, then I'd be like, yeah, watch out. This kid might be able to take over the league. But he's already, 2 years out from when most guys are entering their prime. But that doesn't mean he can't be a really good player. that doesn't mean he can't be, a top 30 player or something like that, right? So I really like what we keep hearing. I'm sure some people are probably like, dude, you've made like 4 videos or whatever about Austin Reaves. And if more news comes out, I'm going to make more because he is a key part of the Lakers. He is very important. And I love hearing this level of success for our guys. I think the USA is going to be massive for Austin Reaves just to get that experience, to play against guys that are just as good, if not better. We've seen countless players go into Team USA and come out just that much better. And I think Austin Reaves is going to be one of those guys. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? What do you think of Steve Kerr's comments? What do you think of Austin Reaves? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments.